Commander James Sterling gazed through the viewport of his battleship, the HMS Titan, at the swirling purple nebula before him. The distress beacon that had drawn them to this uncharted region of space continued its steady pulse, though his crew had detected no signs of the missing research vessel they'd been tasked to find. "Commander, sensors are picking up unusual energy signatures from within the nebula," reported Lieutenant Kira Wong, her fingers dancing across the holographic display. "They don't match any known configurations in our database." Sterling stroked his angular jaw, considering their options. After 20 years in the United Earth Fleet, he'd learned to trust his instincts. Something about this situation felt wrong, yet the possibility of survivors couldn't be ignored. "Take us in, Lieutenant. Maintain defensive shields at maximum." The Titan glided forward, its advanced sensors cutting through the dense cosmic gases. As they penetrated deeper into the nebula, the energy readings grew stronger. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. "Multiple vessels decloaking," Kira shouted. "Designs unknown. They're surrounding us." Before Sterling could respond, the bridge's main view screen activated independently. A striking figure appeared, a tall, athletic woman with silvery skin and flowing crystalline hair that seemed to capture and reflect starlight. Her piercing violet eyes fixed on Sterling with unnerving intensity. "I am First Guardian Zara of the Stellaran Sisterhood," she announced, her voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. "You have entered protected space. State your purpose or be destroyed." Sterling stepped forward, maintaining his composure despite the obvious threat. "Commander James Sterling of the United Earth Fleet. We're responding to a distress signal from this region. We mean no harm." Zara's expression shifted subtly. "The signal was a lure, Commander. We needed to verify certain qualities and potential contacts. Your ship's approach and your measured response are interesting." "A test." Sterling's eyes narrowed. "People could have died attempting a rescue. We would have prevented any loss of life," Zara assured him. "But we needed to assess potential candidates under pressure. You see, Commander, my people face extinction without genetic diversity from compatible species. Our prophets foresaw that humanity might hold the key to our survival." Sterling exchanged glances with his bridge crew. "You're saying you orchestrated this entire encounter to examine humans as potential mates?" "Our race produces only females," Zara explained. "Every few generations, we must seek genetic material from compatible species to continue our line. But not just any DNA will suffice. We require exceptional specimens, those who demonstrate courage, intelligence, and leadership." Before Sterling could respond, proximity alarms blared throughout the ship. A massive vessel had emerged from hyperspace, its design unlike anything in human records. "The Devourers," Zora's voice carried genuine fear. "They follow us between systems, hunting our kind. We believe this nebula would hide us longer." She turned to Sterling, her expression urgent. "Commander, we have much to discuss, but first, we must survive. Will you fight alongside us?" Sterling didn't hesitate. "Lieutenant Wong, battle stations. All hands prepare for combat. First Guardian Zara, the Titan stands ready to assist." The space around them erupted in chaos as the Devourer ship launched waves of fighter craft. The Stellaran vessels moved with incredible grace, their advanced weapons cutting through the enemy fighters. Sterling coordinated with Zara, combining human tactical innovation with Stellaran technology. As the battle raged, Sterling couldn't help but notice the extraordinary capabilities of the Stellaran ships. Their movements seemed almost precognitive, their weapons unlike anything he'd encountered. If they could forge an alliance, humanity would gain powerful allies against the numerous threats that plagued their expansion into space. The fight lasted hours, but the combined forces prevailed. The Devourer vessel retreated, though Sterling suspected this wouldn't be their last encounter. In the battle's aftermath, Zara requested permission to board the Titan. When she materialized in the ship's conference room, her presence was even more commanding in person. She approached Sterling with fluid grace, her crystalline hair shimmering with each movement. "You fought well, Commander," she said. "Perhaps the prophets were right. Your species may indeed hold the key to our future." She extended her hand, a peculiarly human gesture. "I propose an exchange of knowledge and resources. Your people will gain access to our technology, and in return, you want to study human genetics." Sterling finished, accepting her handshake. The moment their hands touched, an unexpected surge of energy passed between them, causing both to step back in surprise. Zara's eyes widened. "Extraordinary. Your genetic structure. It's more compatible than we dared hope." She composed herself quickly. "Commander Sterling, I invite you and your crew to our sanctuary world. There is much we must discuss about the future of both our species." Sterling knew this decision could change the course of human history. The Stellarans' advanced technology could revolutionize space travel, medicine, and defense. Yet he sensed there was more to their interest in humanity than simple genetic diversity. "We accept your invitation, First Guardian," he replied formally. "Though I expect full transparency about your intentions and this prophecy you mentioned." Zara's lips curved in a mysterious smile. "Of course, Commander. You'll find we Stellarans value honesty as much as strength. Follow our nav beacon. Destiny awaits." As the Titan fell into formation with the Stellaran ships, Sterling contemplated the incredible turn of events. What had begun as a rescue mission had evolved into first contact with an advanced civilization, a space battle, and apparently his own role in an alien prophecy. Little did he know, this was merely the beginning of an adventure that would reshape the galaxy itself. The crystalline spires of Astraea, the Stellaran capital city, stretched toward the violet sky like frozen lightning. Commander Sterling stood on a balcony in the central sanctuary, his breath catching at the alien beauty before him. 3 days had passed since the Titan's arrival, yet the wonders of this world continued to astound him. "Impressive, isn't it?" First Guardian Zora approached silently, her crystalline hair catching the light of twin setting suns. "Few outsiders have ever seen our sanctuary world." "It's extraordinary," Sterling admitted, turning to face her. "Though I suspect we're not here just to admire the view." "You mentioned trials." Zara's violet eyes studied him with that unnervingly direct gaze. "Our genetic compatibility must be verified through more than just scientific analysis, Commander. The High Council requires proof that potential genetic donors possess the qualities we seek: courage, wisdom, adaptability. And how exactly do you test these qualities?" "Through the trials of ascension." Zora gestured toward a massive arena visible in the distance. "3 challenges that will push you to your absolute limits. Many of our own warriors spend years preparing for them. You have 3 days." Sterling's jaw tightened. "And if I refuse?" "Then our alliance ends before it truly begins." Zara stepped closer, her presence magnetic. "We've detected more Devourer vessels approaching this sector. Without our combined strength, neither of our species may survive what's coming." Before Sterling could respond, a thunderous explosion rocked the sanctuary. Warning sirens wailed across the city as the sky filled with burning debris. "They're here already," Zara snarled, her composed demeanor cracking. "The Devourers must have followed your ship's quantum wake." She activated a holographic command interface. "All warriors to battle stations. Evacuate the civilian sectors." Sterling's combat training kicked in. "Let me help." "The Titan's crew." "No," Zara cut him off. "This attack is precisely why the trials must happen now. Follow me." She led him through crystalline corridors at a sprint, past squads of Stellaran warriors rushing to their posts. They descended into a vast underground chamber filled with ancient technology and pulsing energy conduits. "This is the heart of Astraea," Zora explained, approaching a central pedestal. "The source of our civilization's power and your first trial." She placed her hand on a crystal panel, causing it to glow. "Our defensive systems are failing. You must interface with the heart and help restore them." "Interface? I don't understand your technology." "The heart responds to thought and will. Like all our highest technologies, it requires more than mere technical knowledge. Zara guided his hand to the panel. Open your mind to it. Trust your instincts. The moment Sterling's palm touched the crystal, his consciousness expanded. The city's systems flowed through his mind like streams of light. Shield generators, weapon arrays, power distribution networks. He could feel the Devourer's weapons impacting the failing barriers above. Drawing on decades of tactical experience, Sterling redirected power flows, optimized shield harmonics, and synchronized the city's defensive grid. The process was intuitive, almost like conducting an orchestra with pure thought. When he opened his eyes, sweat beading on his forehead, the warning sirens had ceased. Extraordinary, Zara breathed, checking the status displays. You not only restored our defenses, but improved their efficiency by 30%. No outsider has ever adapted to our technology so quickly. The interface, it felt natural somehow, like the system was meeting me halfway. Sterling steadied himself against the pedestal, suddenly exhausted. Because it was. Zara's expression held newfound respect. The heart tests more than technical aptitude. It judges worthiness. Had your mind been clouded by fear or selfish ambition, it would have rejected you completely. Another explosion rang out, closer this time. The Devourers have breached the outer atmosphere. A voice announced over the city's communication network. Ground forces detected in sectors 7 through 12. Your second trial begins now, Commander, Zara declared, leading him to a weapons vault. Inside, rows of crystalline armor suits stood ready, humming with power. Don your battle skin and prove your worth in combat. As Sterling approached one of the suits, it liquefied and flowed over his body like quicksilver before solidifying into perfectly fitted armor. The neural interface connected instantly, feeding tactical data directly into his consciousness. The armor responds to thought, just like the heart, Zora explained, donning her own suit. But be warned, the Devourers are unlike any enemy you faced. They consume the genetic material of other species, incorporating useful traits into their own evolution. Each encounter makes them stronger. Sterling flexed his armored hands, marveling at how the suit amplified his movements. Then let's make sure they don't get the chance to evolve further. Together, they charged into battle through the crystalline corridors of Astraea. The Devourers lived up to their fearsome reputation, massive chitinous creatures that moved with unnatural speed and coordination. Their weapons fired streams of corrosive energy that could dissolve both organic matter and technology. But Sterling's years of combat experience, combined with the incredible capabilities of the Stellaran battle skin, proved a devastating combination. He moved like lightning, each action flowing perfectly into the next. The neural interface allowed him to coordinate seamlessly with Zara and her warriors, turning the tide against the invasion force. Hours later, as the last Devourer ship retreated from the system, Sterling stood amid the aftermath of battle. The city had held, though several sectors lay in ruins. The Stellaran High Council had assembled to witness his performance, their expressions unreadable. 2 trials completed, Zara announced formally. The test of mind through the heart interface and the test of body in combat. One final challenge remains, the test of spirit. Sterling removed his battle skin, exhausted but determined. What does that entail? You must connect with the deepest essence of our civilization, the stellar consciousness itself. Zara's voice held both anticipation and concern. Many candidates have been driven mad attempting it. But if you succeed, you will help forge a new future for both our peoples. As the twin suns set over Astraea's scared skyline, Sterling contemplated what lay ahead. The fate of 2 civilizations hung in the balance, and somehow he stood at the center of it all. Whatever this final trial might bring, failure was not an option. The ancient chamber deep beneath Astraea's surface pulsed with ethereal light. Commander Sterling stood before a pool of what appeared to be liquid starlight, its surface rippling with patterns that mirrored the cosmos above. First Guardian Zara and the High Council surrounded him in a solemn circle, their crystalline forms seeming to resonate with the chamber's energy. The stellar consciousness is the collective wisdom of our ancestors, Zara explained, her voice echoing in the sacred space. It preserves not just their memories, but their very essence. To truly understand our people, to be worthy of shaping our future, you must immerse yourself completely. Sterling studied the luminescent pool, noting how the patterns within seemed to respond to his presence. What exactly will happen to me? Your mind will merge with the consciousness. One of the council elders stepped forward, her ancient eyes holding centuries of wisdom. You will experience the history of our people, feel our triumphs and failures, understand our deepest truths. But beware, the experience can overwhelm those unprepared for its intensity. If you succeed, Zara added softly, you will emerge transformed, carrying within you the knowledge needed to forge the bond between our peoples. If you fail, she left the consequences unspoken. Sterling removed his uniform jacket, standing only in his basic flight suit. The recent battles had left him exhausted, yet he felt a strange anticipation. Since arriving on this world, he'd sensed something calling to him, as if every step had led to this moment. I'm ready. Zara approached him, placing a crystalline circlet upon his brow. This will help stabilize your consciousness during the merger. Remember, what you experience will be real, not mere illusions. Your choices within the consciousness will reveal your true nature. Sterling stepped to the pool's edge. The liquid starlight reached for him like living tendrils, drawn to his presence. Taking a deep breath, he submerged himself completely. Sensation exploded through his mind. He was everywhere and nowhere, experiencing countless lives simultaneously. He witnessed the birth of the Stellaran civilization, saw their first steps into space, felt their wonder at discovering their unique abilities. Their triumphs soared through him, technological marvels, artistic achievements, the creation of their sanctuary world. But with the glory came the pain. He experienced their struggles for survival, the genetic degradation that threatened their species, the constant pursuit by the devourers who sought to consume their essence. Each memory carried not just information, but raw emotion, hope, fear, love, despair. Through it all, Sterling maintained his sense of self, a feat that apparently surprised the consciousness. He felt it probing his own memories, examining his experiences, his choices, his core beliefs. The neural interface training from his military days helped him process the flood of information without becoming lost in it. Then the consciousness presented him with a series of choices, moral dilemmas faced by the Stellarans throughout their history. He experienced each scenario as if he were there, making decisions that would affect millions of lives. Some choices were tactical, others ethical, all of them complex. What struck him most was how similar the Stellarans were to humans in their essential nature. Despite their advanced evolution and unique biology, they grappled with the same fundamental questions of existence, purpose, and responsibility. Finally, the consciousness showed him the prophecy that had led the Stellarans to seek out humanity. He saw possible futures branching out like streams of light, some leading to destruction, others to salvation. The genetic combination of human and Stellaran DNA could create beings with unprecedented abilities, capable of defending both species against the mounting threats in the galaxy. But there was more. The consciousness revealed that the Devourers were merely the vanguard of a far greater danger approaching from the galaxy's outer rim. Without the strength of a united human Stellaran civilization, neither species would survive what was coming. Sterling emerged from the pool gasping, his mind reeling from the experience. Zara caught him as he stumbled, her touch grounding him in physical reality. The High Council members watched intently, their forms seeming to shimmer with increased energy. Extraordinary, the elder whispered. He not only survived the merger but achieved true communion. The consciousness accepted him completely. Sterling steadied himself, still processing the vast knowledge he'd gained. I understand now. Everything. Why you needed us, why it had to be this way. He turned to Zara, seeing her in a new light. The Devourers aren't just hunting you. They're running from something worse, aren't they? Zara nodded gravely. What you saw in the consciousness confirms our worst fears. The entity our ancestors called the Void Hunger stirs again. The Devourers are merely its harbingers. Then we don't have much time. Sterling's voice carried new authority, tempered by the wisdom he'd gained. The genetic bonding must begin soon, but it's only the first step. Our civilizations need to unite completely: military forces, scientific knowledge, cultural understanding. Only together do we stand a chance. The High Council members exchanged glances, then bowed in unified acknowledgement. Sterling had passed their trials, proved himself worthy not just as a genetic donor, but as a true partner in forging their shared destiny. Zara took his hand, and this time the energy that passed between them felt familiar. Right. The bonding ceremony can begin at tomorrow's dawn, she said. But first, you should rest. The merger with the consciousness takes a great toll. As Sterling followed her from the ancient chamber, his mind filled with visions of possible futures, he knew that everything in his life had prepared him for this moment. The fate of two civilizations, perhaps the entire galaxy, now rested on the success of their union. The real trials were just beginning. The bonding chamber atop Estrella's highest spire caught the first rays of the twin suns, filling the space with prismatic light. Commander Sterling stood beside First Guardian Zora before the assembled High Council, both dressed in ceremonial crystalline robes that shifted colors with their movements. The knowledge gained from the stellar consciousness still resonated within Sterling's mind, giving him a deeper understanding of the ceremony's significance. This wasn't merely about genetic compatibility. It was about forging a connection that would fundamentally alter both their species' evolutionary paths. The bonding must be both physical and spiritual, the elder explained, activating ancient mechanisms within the chamber. Your genetics will merge, creating a template for future generations. But more importantly, your consciousness will link permanently, allowing you to share thoughts, emotions, and abilities. The chamber's crystal walls began to pulse with energy, responding to the elder's commands. A sphere of pure light formed around Sterling and Zara, isolating them in their own pocket of space-time. Are you certain about this? Sterling asked Zora softly. Once done, it cannot be undone. Zara's violet eyes met his with unwavering conviction. I have never been more certain of anything. What I saw in you during the trials, what the consciousness revealed, we were meant to find each other. The elder's voice resonated through the sphere. Let the bonding commence. Open your minds and hearts to the fundamental forces that bind all life in the cosmos. The energy field intensified, and Sterling felt his consciousness expanding once again. But this time, instead of connecting to the ancestral memories of the Stellarans, he found himself merging with Zora's mind. Their thoughts, memories, and emotions flowed together like streams joining to form a river. He experienced her childhood on Estrella, felt her dedication to protecting her people, understood her fear of their species' gradual decline. She, in turn, lived through his years of military service, shared his sense of duty to Earth, and felt his determination to forge a better future for humanity. As their minds merged, their genetic structures began to align. Sterling felt changes occurring at the molecular level, his DNA reconfiguring to match Stellaran patterns while maintaining its essential human characteristics. Zara's crystalline biology adapted to incorporate human genetic elements, creating something entirely new. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the spire. The bonding sphere flickered as warning sirens blared throughout the city. Through their newly formed mental link, Sterling and Zara simultaneously received the tactical updates. A massive devourer fleet had emerged from hyperspace, far larger than any previously encountered. We must complete the bonding, Zara communicated mentally. Only together can we hope to defeat them. Sterling agreed, pushing more of himself into their connection. The sphere's energy intensified to blinding levels as their merger accelerated. In those crucial moments, something unprecedented occurred. Their combined consciousness reached out beyond themselves, touching the minds of every Stellaran in the city. Through their link, Sterling's tactical knowledge and combat experience flowed to the Stellaran warriors. Simultaneously, their innate understanding of crystalline technology and psychic abilities became accessible to him. The entire city became a single coordinated entity, ready to face the incoming threat. As the bonding reached its crescendo, Sterling and Zara emerged transformed. Their bodies glowed with internal light, their minds permanently linked yet distinct. Together, they turned to face the Devourer assault. The enemy ships darkened Astraea's skies, their biomechanical forms bristling with weapons. But this time, the city was ready. Under Sterling and Zara's joint command, the Stellaran defenses moved with perfect coordination. Crystalline weapons fired in synchronized patterns, their energy amplified by the combined psychic power of the entire population. Through their mental link, Sterling coordinated with the Titan's crew, integrating human tactical doctrines with Stellaran technology. The resulting battle strategy was unlike anything either species had attempted before. The Devourers, despite their superior numbers, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Their adaptive abilities couldn't cope with the unprecedented combination of human intuition and Stellaran power. Ship after ship fell to the coordinated defense, until finally, the massive fleet retreated in disarray. In the battle's aftermath, Sterling and Zara stood before the High Council, their linked minds still radiating power. The genetic bonding had succeeded beyond all expectations, creating a template for a new hybrid species that combined the best aspects of both races. But more importantly, it had proven that true unity between humans and Stellarans was possible. "This is only the beginning," Sterling addressed the council, his voice carrying new authority. "The void hunger approaches, and we must be ready. Earth must be warned, alliances must be forged, and our peoples must learn to fight as one." Zara squeezed his hand, sending waves of agreement through their bond. "We will face whatever comes together, not just as mates, but as the first of a new age. The prophecy has been fulfilled, but our true journey is just beginning." The council members bowed in acknowledgement, their crystalline forms reflecting the light of victory. The bond between Sterling and Zara had changed everything, opening possibilities that neither species had imagined. Now they had to prepare for the greater challenges that lay ahead, the true test of their unified strength. 6 months after the bonding ceremony, Earth's orbital defense platforms detected a massive energy signature approaching from the outer rim. Commander Sterling stood on the bridge of the HSS Titan, now upgraded with Stellaran technology, as reports flooded in from across human space. The void hunger had arrived. Through his permanent link with Zara, Sterling felt her presence beside him, though she physically commanded the Stellaran defense fleet light years away. Their bond had grown stronger over the months, allowing them to coordinate military forces across vast distances. More importantly, their successful genetic merger had led to the birth of the first human Stellaran hybrid children, each showing remarkable abilities that exceeded both parent species. "All fleets report ready," Lieutenant Wong announced from her station. The bridge crew had also evolved, their minds partially linked through Stellaran crystal tech, allowing for unprecedented coordination in combat. The void hunger manifested as a vast, dark mass that consumed light itself. Traditional sensors couldn't penetrate its surface, but through the collective consciousness of the bonded human Stellaran fleet, they could sense the ancient intelligence within, a being that had devoured countless civilizations across multiple galaxies. "This is why the Devourers fled," Sterling communicated through the fleet-wide mental network. "They were merely the scouts for this entity, testing our defenses, analyzing our capabilities. But in doing so, they forced our peoples together." Zara's thoughts merged with his. "Without their threat, we might never have discovered our true potential." The combined fleet of Earth and Astraea assembled in precise formation. Human warships enhanced with crystalline technology, Stellaran vessels powered by hybrid crews, and entirely new ships designed by both species working in harmony. They represented the greatest military force ever assembled in the galaxy's history. The void hunger struck first, launching tendrils of dark energy that could tear ships apart at the atomic level. But the fleet was ready. Hybrid crews activated their enhanced shields, their merged consciousness allowing them to adapt faster than any single species could alone. Stellar and crystal weapons, amplified by human tactical innovations, carved through the darkness. Through their bond, Sterling and Zara coordinated the massive battle, their linked minds processing information faster than any computer. They could feel every victory, every loss, every shift in the cosmic battle's momentum. The hybrid children on Estrella and Earth, though young, added their unique abilities to the network, their unprecedented powers strengthening the fleet's defenses. The void hunger retaliated with weapons that defied physics, gravity weapons that could implode stars, temporal distortions that aged ships to dust, psychic attacks that threatened to shatter the fleet's mental cohesion. But the human Stellaran bond proved stronger. Their combined consciousness evolved rapidly, developing countermeasures to each new threat. In the battle's critical moment, Sterling and Zara initiated their final gambit. Through their perfect union, they channeled the combined psychic energy of both civilizations into a single devastating attack. The hybrid children's power amplified the blast, creating a cascade of pure consciousness that penetrated the void hunger's defenses. For the first time in its ancient existence, the cosmic entity encountered something it couldn't consume: the perfectly merged power of two species that had transcended their individual limitations. The attack disrupted its fundamental structure, creating a chain reaction that began to tear it apart from within. As the void hunger collapsed in on itself, its death throes threatened to destroy everything nearby. Sterling and Zara, their minds acting as one, coordinated the fleet's emergency retreat. Ships jumped to safety as space itself warped and twisted, the death of an ancient cosmic entity creating ripples in reality. When the cosmic storm cleared, the combined fleet emerged victorious. The void hunger, the greatest threat their galaxy had ever faced, had been defeated not by superior firepower, but by the unprecedented evolution that came from two species achieving perfect unity. In the years that followed, the human Stellaran civilization flourished. Their hybrid children grew into beings of extraordinary capability, representing the next step in both species' evolution. The bonding process that had begun with Sterling and Zara expanded, creating an entire society of merged consciousness and shared purpose. Standing on the observation deck of Estrella's highest spire, Sterling watched their young daughter manipulating crystalline structures with a thought, her human creativity enhanced by Stellaran power. Through their permanent bond, he felt Zara's pride and love, their shared consciousness, an eternal testament to what became possible when two species dared to dream of a greater future together. "We've changed the course of evolution itself," Zara spoke both mentally and aloud, joining him at the window. "Not just for our peoples, but for all life in the galaxy." Sterling pulled her close, their merged minds sharing memories of everything they'd overcome to reach this point. "The prophecy spoke of saving our species," he replied, "but it gave us so much more, a future neither of us could have imagined alone." Below them, the crystalline city sparkled with new life, human and Stellaran children, playing together in gardens that blended Earth's natural beauty with Estrene architecture. Their civilization had become a beacon of hope in the galaxy, proving that the greatest strength comes not from conquest or dominance, but from the courage to transform through love and understanding. The stars beckoned above, holding new mysteries and challenges for their unified people to explore. But whatever the cosmos might bring, they would face it together, not as separate species, but as one evolved humanity, reaching for the infinite with shared purpose and unshakable bonds.